Hello and welcome to Dimsy's Domain, and this is another Yu-Gi-Oh video where we're going to focus around the 6th series. We found out, we haven't yet known the name, but we know the protagonist is called Yusaku Fujiki. And the thing is, we see from the pictures that we've been shown that it seems that they're going to have a new dueling style or a new dueling type, very similar to Riding Duel in Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds. We might have another form of variation of Riding Duel where we see them dueling on hoverboards, yes, and they're gonna probably emulate the whole solid state hologram functioning and technology that we saw in Arc V, but I don't know how active it's going to be. But with me today, we've done a lot of videos regarding the characterization, the visualization, as well as many other videos regarding Yu-Gi-Oh. Check out BYG Aigami, and he's right here. Do you want to say hello?
Hello everyone, and thanks for having me, Dimsy. But as for like the solid vision, it's always consistent through every anime. Like Kaiba created the whole solid vision side of things.
Battle City, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was in a Duel's Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was making the test example, but it finally went through in Battle City, the finalized version of the Duel Disc. So it's always an improvised version of solid vision.
I see, and but the thing is, how did they get it more better from Arc V, where it was action, as in they could actually physically grab or even interact with some of the monsters? To be honest, I think that kind of ruined it in a sense. It took the, not realism, but I don't know, I don't think it worked that well. However, I'm not caught up with it completely, so maybe that improves. But I did initially, and this is my personal feeling towards Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, I thought that I absolutely hated the fact that they're going to be using motorcycles. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? But when I looked past that, looked past my own ignorance in that way, and I accepted and I started watching Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, I absolutely adored the whole Riding Duel phenomenon, the Riding Duel aspect to Yu-Gi-Oh which has been introduced. But now they're doing the hoverboards, I think it's more, as in there's not much mechanical to it, as in, you know, with the Riding Duel you have the motorcycles, you have the cars, or whatever it may be. You are physically in the vehicle. It's like you're on, or you're inside an Iron Man costume. But with them having a hoverboard, they're on the vehicle, but it's very much them, as in it's very difficult to explain, to be honest. It's like they're not clamored, they're not enclosed in a metallic suit, they're not protected by the windscreen or just the structure of the motorcycle itself. It not only does it seem more active, more realistic, because, you know, skateboarding, etc., but it seems that there's a real sense of danger to it. What do you reckon what's your initial impressions regarding the hoverboard dueling?
I like it a lot. I feel like the hoverboard dueling brings a new taste to it, and the duel disc from the image that we saw from Jump Festa looks amazing. So it seems like there's a gauntlet, alright? A gauntlet on it, and from the gauntlet it presents a hologram version of a duel disc, so it isn't a legit duel disc strapped on the person's arm.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every character might get a different variation of it. But what I'm interested to see is that, I'm just gonna call it the duel bridge. Over the pictures there's like this barrier keeping up the duelists, and I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that if it's like 5Ds where they're just keep on going straight and making left turns. I would like if they added some sort of obstacles in the way where they have to like sort of go on a ramp, or sort of probably like not go on a ramp, but like a narrow rail, or like obstacles in the way, so it's more, so it just keeps up the intensity, as there are two things that the duelist or the hoverboard duelists have to rely on: their lives and winning the obstacle, as well as winning the duel.
Yeah, because the thing is, in terms of obstacles, if you look at the picture, the promotional picture that we saw from Jump Festa, where we saw initially, as you said, the hoverboard itself, or the skateboard, or the dueling skateboard, whatever you want to dub it, because it's going to definitely have a completely different name. They're going to call it something different, which you wouldn't. Yeah, let's say the duel board. Let's stick with the duel board. But we see there's a few monsters coming out of the, not the actual wall itself, but it's like monsters are chasing it, and that's very similar to the active duel aspect to Arc 5, where I like that, where he's very much running away, or trying to get these action cards. I don't want silly nonsense such as action cards. I just barely tolerated speed cards and speed spells, or whatever it may be, but incorporating other things such as, you know, another version of action cards is going to really push it for me. However, I do understand and I fully accept that in order to add in that X factor and that enigma to how the hell are they going to go about and get out of the situation, using a MacGuffin such as an action card or something along those lines would really help. But I don't want them to overdo it, as we saw in the early stages of Arc 5. But I do think it's going to be a circuit or a track where it's not a straight line, but they're going to have a lot of obstacles where they go up and down. That is one thing which I think they're going to utilize in terms of what they lacked in 5Ds. I think they're going to utilize the latitude and longitude aspect, like both of them. So not only are they going to go in whatever route they have, so in a 2D plane they're going to go left, right, twist and turn and that, but I think they're also going to go up and down in terms of height as well. So you might see them go into a cavern or underground or up and down, missing obstacles such as planes and other hoverboards. And I don't want them to have a allocated and isolated track just for the riding skateboard or the hoverboard itself. I want them to be dangerously dueling in public, and that would make it very interesting, and also kind of shows the more mature theme, because there's a very evident and a very, very blatant threat of life from riding a hoverboard at the speed which you'd expect it to go at whilst dueling. That makes very little sense, but at the same time it makes sense in terms of, hey, that's a very engaging way to duel.
And now this is what I feel like I agree with you in the sense of, yeah, they should do obstacles, but the thing is, you know how like 5D should have incorporated on they did the whole speed counters, and then you can activate a spell card.
Yeah.
But what if the new summoning method, which we don't know any information about, we might get it tonight, is that the more speed you get, the more tricks or the more obstacles that you get, it allows for you to summon a monster. What are your thoughts on that?
It's very similar to old school, for you fans who know about the PlayStation 2 Tony Hawk's little gaming series, but you know how
Project 8.
that was
for 360.
I remember Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I think number 3 or something. I used to play that. I think I played number 3 the most. That's why it's really vivid in my memory. But just them doing all these moves and all these tricks, and that's one way to actually increase its not reputation, but as you said, to accumulate whatever incentives you may get using a hoverboard duel. And I think that's an absolutely phenomenal idea, and that may actually be what they go to. In terms of the hoverboard itself though, are they going to be wearing a specific armor, or do they need to be wearing an armor to operate the actual hoverboard itself? That's what it seems like from the actual...
It seems like a gravity suit, in the sense of, like, with that suit, it helps you like connect to the hoverboard.
And that's what makes me wonder, are they going to be doing this very frequently? Because it's going to get a bit old when you keep on seeing a little visual of them suiting up. Like, you know how after a while in the Marvel TV shows, the cartoon shows, I mean, how they stop showing Iron Man suiting up from his briefcase in his suit, or just the transformations in many animes in general and cartoons. How long can they do the whole them suiting up in that, as you said, that gravity hoverboard-esque suit and not get boring?
Yeah, they did that in season 1 of Yugioh, where they basically had Yami transform as a Yugioh, and I think they stopped after episode 16 because it was very repetitive. And they did that in movies, of course. They did that in Bonds Beyond Time when Yugi's about to transform, and they had like that little red aura, but it was worth it. It was nostalgia.
It's that novelty factor, but I think they may encounter the same problem because you're going to have more than one character who is going to suit up into this suit, which is probably necessary to operate the hoverboard. I think, if I were to conclude my thoughts, that this is a way for them to incorporate a very interesting dynamic version of dueling. We've seen hoverboard dueling before. What? You don't believe me? Look at Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. We saw Lecter, who was one of the 3 emperors of Iliasta, incorporate and use this hoverboard as he was dueling against Luna and Leo, and that was very well done. It was very different.
Fun slice of life moment, sort of.
It was not even slice of life, because they were serious at that point. It was Lecter testing Luna and Leo, but the point was he was using a vehicle which we have never seen before, and it was a breath of fresh air to what we were used to in regards to the duel runners for what Jack Atlas and Yusei did, because Yusei was rebuilding his duel runner once more. So heck, we may see the initial parts of this new character Yusaku building a hoverboard, building and optimizing it for maybe competitive play, maybe for a race. Are they going to be using and having races which incorporate this hoverboard? That's one thing I really want to see, because we always need a tournament. So obviously we're going to see a tournament using these hoverboards, but how are they going to play into it? Is it going to be straight up a race or a duel phenomenon, a dueling showcase where they show their skills and their hoverboard or riding or skateboarding skills at the same time? So I think that's going to be a very, very, very interesting aspect. And with that, I want to direct you towards the other videos on BYG Aigami's channel, myself, and check out the Facebook page. Follow the Facebook page for the best updates and the most valid news you'll find. Make sure to like, share, comment and subscribe. What do you reckon? What are your initial thoughts and impressions regarding the hoverboard dueling? Do you think that you could ride a hoverboard and duel at the same time? Probably not, but make sure you have that in mind as you exit Dimsy's domain. Thank you and goodbye.